What is up, Gabe? Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday already. And you looked surprised to see me there for a second.
It's quick. Happens fast.
It's quick. It sneaks up on us, doesn't it? Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Blank as a Fart. I'm Gabe. That's Ian. We're here to watch us some Twin Peaks. Hope you're here for the same.
Twin Peaks.
How's the week been so far, Ian?
Well, it's back to school season, so it's everything's but it's new, it's refreshing, it's different, and it's exciting. So it's the most exciting start of the school year that has been for me for a very long time. So I'm actually cautiously optimistic that this year is going to be different and more positive. So
filling y'all in, Ian works for the school district.
A school district.
A school district, yeah.
I work for the one and only.
The one.
that you send your kids to,
one.
And they beat your kids, and they grind them up into fucking lunch meat.
Anyway. Right? He's teaching them critical replacement theory. Or critical race theory. Excuse me.
Yeah. No. But sure.
No. We're drifting already, man. We need to plan more proper intros, I think.
I don't think so. I think
you don't think so?
I don't think
you
so.
You think the flow is all right?
Yeah. It makes us sound human. Relatable.
Yeah, it does. We're not robots here.
How are you, Gabe?
We're not scripted. I'm doing well. It's been a good week so far.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I've been active. I've been riding my bike. Back at my yoga now that my shoulder and my knee are healing up. So, yeah.
Cool.
Feeling good. Feeling real good. Thanks to all y'all who are liking us on the socials. I do have a couple of personal friends who I want to say hey to. Thank you to Sarah and thank you to Sherry for supporting us online.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hope you're enjoying the episodes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've been good friends, and I know they're checking in. Sarah in particular sent me a couple of pics of her watching the YouTube stream. So
the YouTube one is the most popular. We get a lot of people on that one.
We do, yeah. They like our handsome faces and our rockin' beards.
We got 21 views this week on that.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. People like Denise too, Denise is an important character.
There you go.
We were sorry to see her go.
Indeed.
But we got to meet some new folks this week. Should we get at it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, this week we resumed that old motif of picking up right where we left off. We start with an extreme close-up of the body we found in Truman's office, the mouth specifically. The tape covering it is removed, and a black pawn is taken out from between the teeth. Cooper places the pawn in an evidence bag and hands it to Andy for fingerprinting. Harry reports that nobody saw a thing, as everyone was distracted by the fire and the explosion. Doc Hayward is unable to make a guess at the time of death, but Cooper is correctly able to surmise the cause of it: a stab wound just beneath the sternum, severing the aorta. The only evidence they're able to turn up are some needles from a lodgepole pine and the matching set of arriving and departing footprints that Hawk finds outside. Cooper is certain that Wyndham Earle is responsible and explains to the gang in great detail exactly how he pulled it off, ending with an affirmative statement of, "Wyndham Earle has been in this room. I can still feel his presence."
So my
tremor in the lodge.
So my only comment here, just early on, just throwing Hail Marys at the end zone, and obviously I get the answer at the end of this episode, but I threw it up and I was just like, fuck it. I think this would be fun. They didn't go this direction, but I put in this little first intro scene, Cooper is Wyndham Earle.
It does. We'll get to that discussion in a second here, but it does really just feel like, especially once you. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
But I just think that would be a cool thing. But yeah. I thought that would be cool.
Agent Cooper and Wyndham Earle.
Slightly in a show that
is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Wyndham Earle is
anyway.
what happens when Cooper doesn't get his coffee.
Yeah, anyway. Continue on.
Over at the Great Northern, the power is out too, but luckily the staff has plenty of candles on hand to make sure all the rooms are well lit. By the big fire, Audrey is explaining to Bobby the very specific importance of a business relationship and uses an ice cube as a metaphor to explain that if they don't help her father get back from La La Land, there's no money in it for either of them. Audrey firmly proclaims that she's the one that Bobby needs to suck up to. Bobby inquires, what about Shelley? And Audrey repeats, what about Shelley?
Okay, before we move on, I know you've already mentioned it. This is kind of Audrey's fate, but man, I hate Audrey's fate, dude. What a waste.
It's unfortunate, isn't it?
What a waste of the best actor on the show.
Yeah. Well, I would still argue that Kyle MacLachlan is the best, but biased weighing
that's
in.
Biased. He can be.
I won't disagree.
I would agree that he can be, but I think when she's given what she's given, I don't know. She's never. I mean, even in this garbage scene, she's still the best.
And they're not portraying her as any different.
No.
She's still the brains. She's still the smartest person in any room she's in.
But she doesn't leave. She doesn't leave any room in the Great Northern. She's been chained, shackled to the Great Northern.
Yeah, I really think if we had, the ability to have more actors in more shoots,
they should have killed her dad. Here, kill her dad. Let her take over the business. Way more interesting. Instantly more interesting.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what she's doing now, but
not really.
Not without the death, with an ego death going on. Let's hope it doesn't last long. But what about Shelley, indeed? The poor gal is being stalked through the darkened house by her husband, who has evolved from his vegetative state into a full-on horror movie villain. He menaces her from the shadows, throwing objects and shoving the wheelchair into her path, muttering, "Bad girl," while Shelley tries in vain to operate the front and back doors, as an owl observes him passively from the forest. Grabbing a knife from the kitchen drawer, Shelley eventually remembers that there's a couple of walls in the place that are just tarps, and cuts her way through, almost escaping before Leo grabs her by the shoulder and hurls her back into the kitchen. Lucky for her, Bobby arrives with impeccable timing. He's also unable to work the door, but he's able to hear Shelley scream as Leo brings out the axe. Bobby peeps in the window and nearly catches Leo's fist in his face as the vegetable monster punches through the glass. Bobby races to find another way in as Leo raises the axe over his head, whispering, "Goodbye, wife," as Shelley screams in terror. Bobby grabs at the axe just in time, but Leo quickly overpowers him and starts to choke him with the handle. Shelley recovers the knife and stabs Leo in the leg. He runs away, screaming into the night, while Bobby does his best to try and comfort a traumatized Shelley. Wow, a lot going on in this scene.
Not really. I wrote one word. Tedious.
Tedious.
Let's just move on. Can we just kill somebody and move on? Like, can we be done with this? I don't give a shit. That's where I'm at. I like all the like really awful, poorly done horror, like staging, and it's just like, ugh.
I mean, it's
not effective. It was not on me at all. It's not effective. It's not good. It's like slow motion hatchet 3 times. I think we got that. It's just like, ugh. I don't care. I was just like, dumb.
I thought, some of it was an effective use of shadows, and like for a while the absence of Leo was more effective than the presence of him. But yeah, it did feel like this scene dragged quite a bit.
It's all pointless. I wish this was over a long time ago.
There is serious lack of continuity involved too. Remember when we saw Leo, he had the cake on his face and the party hat on. That's absent.
He wiped
I don't understand what that was all about.
He wiped it off.
Or he sweated it off. He was pretty shiny.
Maybe he ate it. That's what gave him the sugar high, the energy to do all this.
Yeah, and also either Leo's been fucking with Shelley for like 20 minutes now, or Bobby is real fast at getting there from the Great Northern. because I'm not sure, how they're supposed to line this up, but the way, it makes it feel like real time, which gives Bobby about 2 minutes to drive over there.
He's racing in Leo's Corvette, right?
Oh, yeah, he could be. I mean, Leo's not driving it around. Or no, that was impounded, wasn't it? Wasn't that evidence?
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Or was the truck evidence? Who fucking knows?
The truck was definitely evidence because that was a photo of it in the magazine. But I don't know if the Corvette was ever impounded.
I want to say there was some dialogue about them holding the vet as evidence, too.
Gotcha. Anyway,
when they were having budget issues. You weren't impressed with this one, huh?
I just sitting there watching this like, I don't care.
Yeah, Leo as Michael Myers. It's something that doesn't age well. Dawn is breaking, and they're finally wheeling the stiff out of Harry's office. Fun fact, the actor playing the corpse there is Craig McLachlan. That's right, Kyle's brother.
Wow, that's cool. Fun fact.
Yeah, neat little factoid. Harry brings Coop a cup of coffee, and there's a tongue twister for you. Bring Coop a cup of coffee. Bring Coop a cup of coffee. And confirms some of his suspicions. No prints, hairs, or fibers to use for evidence. Harry also asks if there's any word from Denise. Cooper confirms that the Bureau has cleared him of all criminal charges, but the suspension still stands for now. Well, Harry states that as long as that's true, Cooper is still his deputy, and if he wants the case, it's his to take. Huck pops in. What's that?
I said it's a fun role reversal where Truman's like the boss.
Right, because Truman was very quick to defer to Cooper in the beginning, as under his jurisdiction. He's like, yep, I'm out of my depth here. And yeah, Cooper pays him the same respect, and that's, just further evidence of their man bond.
Here's the thing about this, though. There's a thing there where, like, if the writing was well done, this could be a really cool thing, where it's just kind of touched on just kind of offhandedly in this scene. I think in today's episodes, like writing and stuff, it would be kind of this like cool turning point in an episode more so, where like Cooper would have been felt like he couldn't have done anything, but now that he still has this ability to be this, it would have had more weight. And it's a fun thing in this episode. I think nowadays it would have more weight. You would place more on it, and it's just kind of like, so
yeah,
I
agree.
You watch something like this, and then you watch something like, anyway, that's where I'm taking,
it feels like something that they would have like wrapped an episode with. Would be like, Harry handing him the badge.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh man, it would have been like, it's like, oh, now it's fucking on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's a cool thing, but like, it's just kind of offhandedly
and, I mean, the
dismissive.
timing of it was important because you did want to make sure that he had legal authority to be at that whole dead dog raid thing.
Sure, right, but it's just,
it was just kind of a blow off, and it felt like it could have been emphasized. It's
wild how much writing has changed and how much focus has gone into character and stuff versus like just moving through plot, just moving through all these plots.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, it's been 35 years.
I know, Gabe. I'm just saying. Film was doing it for a long time. Like, how come someone didn't really think to really do it? Why did it take so long? I don't know.
Because nobody gave him enough money to do it.
I think
nobody gave him enough money to make TV like a movie.
I get you, but I feel like
up until
I would have tried harder. I don't know. Anyway.
And I think Lynch did try as hard as he could.
I don't think he tried at all. I don't think Lynch is on this. And I think everyone's just trying to ape Lynch. I don't think Lynch is over this at all. I don't think he gives a shit.
This episode? No, probably not.
A lot of these episodes. I don't think he gives a shit.
No, yeah, I think he gave up the fight after they forced him to do the reveal. But
even then, I don't think there's that much really. I don't know.
I mean, it was clear that he'd lost interest in TV because there was far too much interference from the production side.
I'm really excited, though, to get to the return because, like, am I going to like it? That's going to be the exciting thing. Like,
well, you do like Lynch movies.
Some of them.
And you like
some of them. I'm just excited.
Some of the ones we've already discussed, like the ones that share the similar theme.
Hey, chat, drop it in the chat if you think I should just hate it just because. No.
Don't give him an excuse to hate more things, people. Ian hates plenty. Speaking of hate, Get a long pan of model cars on a mantelpiece, dissolving into a row of real cars in a garage. I don't even know where those model cars or that mantle is supposed to be, but whatever. In the last car, James is putting the finishing touches. That's right, it's the Jaguar. And it's Jeffrey finally turning up to introduce himself. They make small talk about his plans to leave soon when Evelyn shows up to make goo-goo eyes at James and insists that she'll have more stuff to do for him to do around the house, namely her.
Right.
James uncomfortably excuses himself to go wash up, and Jeffrey kisses his long-suffering wife before taking the Jaguar out for a spin. As Evelyn stares on intensely from the driveway, we hear overdubbed audio of what sounds very much like an auto accident and a man screaming. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Soap opera bullshit.
I just wrote sure. I mean, we saw this coming, right?
A mile away. A mile away.
So I was just like, okay, whatever.
Like, if you actually look at one of the IMDb pages, the brief summary it gives of like 2 episodes before, it says Evelyn asks James to help her kill her husband, which isn't true.
True. No.
That doesn't actually happen ever. But it's in the IMDb summary, and nobody's like removed it at this point.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, it's been painfully obvious. And, I think that's part of what I didn't like about this. From the very beginning, from age 13, I hated this plot line. I hated everything about it. I hated the melodrama. It was just primetime soap opera.
I wouldn't mind it.
In my life, even I'd seen enough soap operas to know.
I wouldn't mind it if it somehow tied into the. At this point, it doesn't seem to tie into the grand.
Yeah, no, it relates to absolutely nothing else.
Yeah, so it makes no point. It's just like we needed to give these 2 actors. By that I mean Donna, because Donna also shows up in this. But like, it just means
finally.
We need to give them something else to do. So let's just give them this that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. How do we create conflict between Donna and James? Well, what do you do with your drifter? You send him on the road and have him fuck somebody's wife.
And this is the shitty thing. Like, I don't. We can talk about this later, but like, there's another person that is revealed yet again, and it's like maybe I would have made that guy her partner, not killed him off yet, and like tied it into that. Like, then they would have got all tied into the same thing again. Like kind of make it incestuous. And like it was all the same. Everyone's I'm talking about the Catherine and all the Andrew guy. Like
Andrew,
maybe if Andrew was married to this chick currently, like, just kind of he was living down the road and just hanging out and had all this other life going on at the moment.
I'm not quite following you, so let's save that for that actual scene.
If he just had something else going on, just
maybe, yeah. Rather than, where was he hiding after all?
Exactly. Because he's supposed to be dead. So, like, why doesn't he just have another life just waiting in the wings? Why not? You could have made this massive reveal. Like, it's all of this, and it would have been just like this wild. Like, if you're gonna do this kind of shitty stuff, like, why not just go for it? That's what I would have done. Anyway, continue on.
More risks allowed these days, I suppose. Over breakfast at the Double R, Big Ed is seeking Doc Hayward's advice on Nadine's enhanced sexual appetite and her desire to date other boys. A lot of Doc Hayward in this episode this week.
Yeah. A lot of actually a lot of doctors in general in this episode.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Doc doesn't have much to offer other than to counsel patients. He does ask Ed about Donna's plans to go find James. Ed fills him in on what few of the details he knows, and the two lament the difficulties of parenthood.
Now, this is funny because you don't mention this. Ed actually says she wants to date other boys. What should I tell her? Whoa. And then he asks her, is she sexually active? And I'm like, Doc, you just say, well, it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's illegal. You can just say that.
Sorry to note that we've skipped a couple of scenes, so we need to go back.
What?
Yeah, we missed some stuff.
What do we miss?
We got to go back to the sheriff's station where Hawk pops in with lots more news. Confirmation of the vehicle location where Cooper suspected it. An update on Hank Jennings, who missed the bye at Dead Dog Farm due to being, quote, hit by a bus. Hawk has booked him for parole violations and has him under arrest at the hospital. Lastly, he lets them know that Shelley called to report Leo's rampage.
Oh, that's right.
We also get the quick slapstick segue with the rubber glove into a conversation between Andy and Lucy, where he fills her in on his and Dick's suspicions about little Nicky's potential homicidal tendencies. Mm-hmm. Lucy is quick to express her outrage and disgust and vows to find out the truth of the situation for herself.
How'd you skip all that, Gabe?
I'm not sure. We got distracted somewhere in the middle of that, and then we started talking about other scenes in the show, so I lost my place. Where are we? Back at the Double R?
Diner.
Yeah, Doc is getting up, and Norma is sitting down.
Anyway, I just want to go back to the fact that what should I say to her, Doc? And the doc should have said, well, it's illegal. It's illegal. She shouldn't be dating boys. And then what he says is like, is she sexually active? And it's like, Ed should have been, God, I hope not, because that would be illegal.
Right?
Like, literally no one in this show realizes that this, 30, maybe 40-year-old woman is going to attempt to date, kiss, and fuck teenagers? What is wrong with society? This is what's wrong with society. It's been brainwashing our children. Don't watch TV, kids. Parents, go find the Lord. Go back to God. Jesus is the only answer now. Anyway, I just feel like, what is going on in the show?
You know, that was the cool thing in those days.
And this is not even the first time I'm going to bring this up. This is going to be another time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there is. Not the only age gap relationship we have. The old May-December romance. Norma takes a seat and lets Ed know that Hank is in the hospital. The excuse she heard is that a tree fell on him. Ed informs her that that tree was a redwood named Nadine and that she put a good whipping on old Hank. Norma says now that Hank is going back to prison, she should start correcting a few mistakes in her life. Ed lays out a plan for a romantic date with her, and when Norma worries that people will talk, Ed's response is a sly, let 'em.
Oh, I mean, it's nice. I get that. I get that they're going to finally have their little romance, maybe. And then cut to
Are there any happy endings in Twin Peaks?
Cut to pedo scene 2. Anyway.
Well, you know, at least James is starting to get wise here. Yeah, at the Marsh place, Evelyn lets herself into James's room to find him packing up to leave. Shirtless alert. He tries to make sexy time with him, but he rebuffs her, starting to grow a conscience about this whole illicit affair thing. Evelyn counters with love isn't wrong and begs James not to leave her alone with her abusive husband. Love bombing 3 days into their relationship. Classic narcissist behavior. James abruptly leaves to go check on his bike while a baseball game continues to play on the radio in the background.
I wrote,
what do you think the significance of that was? Do you think that was emblematic of something else?
My only comment was, James is going to go check his hog. I bet she wanted to check his hog.
Right. Check his hog or crank it.
At least turn it over.
Yeah, I was trying to listen to the baseball for like he's out of there.
Oh, really?
He was running off or something, but
see, I wasn't sure if it was baseball or what it was.
It sounded like baseball to me. I mean, it's March. That's still a little early, but
could have been basketball then.
Suppose. James doesn't strike me as a b-ball fan, though.
He doesn't strike me as a sports fan at all.
No. He's in a garage.
Like, it was so like out of left field.
Why wasn't he listening to the rockabilly that he put on at the roadside bar or whatever?
I was literally listening. When I was watching, it's like, that's so random that they have that in the background. Like, why is that going on?
Yeah. That's why I listened in. I figured there had to be some sort of Easter egg involved, but I guess not. Well, gee, I hope they disinfected Harry's desk because Cooper and Harry are getting real close to it. Cooper is explaining the importance of chess to his relationship with Wyndham Earl. In the 3 years they were partners, Coop and Earl played a game every day, and Earl always won. Harry feels like it's time he got the full story, and Cooper agrees. He repeats the same tale we already saw him tell Audrey about the witness they were assigned to protect, whom he fell in love with and whom died in his arms. He does, however, add one important detail that he left out of the original telling. Caroline, the witness, was Wyndham Earl's wife. He also tells
I kind of
Harry,
assumed that. Like,
I think, yeah.
way back, I feel like I assumed that, but maybe I
had to
didn't.
be
I don't know if I
something
said
like
that,
that.
but I felt like I assumed that. I just like that's what.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not. I mean, I may have let it slip during the commentary at some point. But yeah, I mean, it stands to reason. That's a little bit of a crack in that, perfect white knight armor of Cooper's, though. That's a pretty heady character flaw for him right there.
And lends credence to Coop is Wyndham Earl.
Oh, it does a little bit, doesn't it? Although, but we'll get there. He also tells Harry that he believes that Earl was the one who murdered Caroline and also the one who committed the original crime that she was a witness to. Cooper tells Harry that Earl has a mind like a diamond and that somehow, in the midst of feigning his insanity, he also lost his moral compass. Cooper seems deeply afraid of what Earl may be capable of. I'm going to poke holes in your theory here.
No, that's fine. No, it was a loose theory. It's a loose theory. It was.
And Albert makes mention of Earl, and they were partners for 3 years.
I know.
There would be records. It would be a great scene, if they never had that breakfast between Albert and Cooper, and then at some point, like, Harry asks Albert about Wyndham Earl, and Albert just gives him like a puzzled look, and that's how the whole thing unfolds. Yeah.
So it's more like it was a theory I threw up there, and it was also slash like something I would have done if I was a writer, because I know that like David Lynch likes to do that duality of personality, like the persona like has dual. So it would have been a fun thing to fuck around with. So I threw that up there, but it's I know it's not serious. I know he's not like, and then he's talking. Yeah, there's like a lot of situations where like there's no way that Coop could have been here when Wyndham Earl was doing this or whatever. It was just a funny thing I wrote like right off the bat when I was like listening to that. I was like, wouldn't that be great if Coop was Wyndham Earl? That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I'll put this out because they're talking about chess in this scene. Chess is a dumb game that lazy scriptwriters use to make a villain or plot seem more intelligent. And then I just had Rihanna going through my mind. Shine bright like a diamond.
Like a diamond.
Diamond. Shine. Anyway, those are my 2 comments for the end of this scene. I don't know why, but I think it's true. I think chess is like
from Barbados or something.
I just think that chess is like this thing, like when you don't have weight to a character, you put it in there. And it makes it feel weighty, but it's
the only thing I will disagree with is that your assessment that it's a dumb game.
Okay, I don't think it's a dumb game
at all, but it is certainly a lazy plot device, especially when it comes to a hero and villain adversarial relationship.
All right, I probably should have reworded it differently. You're right. It's not an idiot's game, but it's like an idiot. It's just fucking dumb.
I see where you're going with that, and I agree with you.
I was quickly typing with my thumbs.
That's why I do the voice, baby. Then you get all kinds of wild shit in there. I get so mad at that voice notes bit. I really should just get a keyboard and do it that way.
It's all good.
Meanwhile, Donna has found her way to Hideout Willie's, where she smartly orders a coffee, but is also pretty quick to light up a cigarette.
No, wait. She doesn't light it to after she's confronted with the older lady.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
she pulls it out. She's like, "Oh," and then she pulls it out to be older.
Yeah, I got to look like an adult now.
But they don't. Their age is questionable. Each other. Like I'm sure she's
like real talk. They're probably less than 10 years apart. Yeah.
Anyway,
but I think the implication is they're
right.
supposed to be
100%.
20 or more.
Sure.
Her inquiry to the bartender about James seems to fall on deaf ears, as all he does is look down the bar at Evelyn, who takes that as her cue to enter the conversation with her martini in hand. She tells Donna mostly the truth up until the last part where she lies about James already having left for possibly Mexico. She asks Donna if she is what James is running away from, and then tells her to go home in very condescending fashion, paying for Donna's coffee on her way out of the door. As Donna stares on angrily, jaw clenched, everybody's favorite song
It's so good.
in.
I go, this song, so good. And then I go, that's all we get?
Well, we do get the scene dissolving to James, pounding himself against a post and grabbing at his spiky-headed hair, wallowing in that special anguish that only teenage white boys could possibly understand.
Anyway, so good to hear it again. I actually liked it more this time. I was like, oh, yes, let's do it.
I won't lie, it's starting to grow on me a little bit after 30 years.
This is only the second time we've heard it.
No,
we
haven't. At least the third.
No, we haven't heard it since. I don't think we've heard it. I would have made points. I don't think we've heard it since the original time.
There's been at least one time since.
I don't think so. Think so. You should go back and watch them all. It's overused. Let me know.
Yeah, watch them all again.
I would have known. I would have put it in my notes. I don't think it's in my notes. Anyway,
it's in my mental notes.
Sure, you think that, but I don't agree. I disagree.
My 13-year-old self mental notes.
I hope it's just the main theme of the returns.
I hate you for that. We get a close look at a tableau of toy soldiers carrying Confederate flags and marching on Washington as Audrey ushers her Uncle Jerry into her father's office. Yay, the return of David Patrick Kelly. He doesn't get a whole lot to do this week, though. He calls his brother's name to try and get his attention, but Dr. Jacoby, perched on a chair in the corner, informs him that Ben prefers to be addressed as General.
Jacoby gets a lot of play this week.
Oh, he does, yes. Jerry plays along, and Ben recognizes his presence, believing him to be fellow General Jeb Stuart. Ben/General Lee makes an impassioned speech about the imminent victory of the Confederacy, to which Jacoby offers a resounding hallelujah. When Jerry questions the wisdom of Jacoby's patented just feed into their delusions treatment, Jacoby explains that by role-playing a reversal of the South's defeat, Ben is internally processing his own recent misfortunes and will learn how to come back from them even stronger. Ben/Lee makes another inspirational speech to his troops, complete with a flag over his shoulder and a flan blowing it with. That's a poorly written sentence. And inspired Jacoby starts singing the Dixie fight song as Jerry and Audrey stare on in despair.
My comment is, we band of merry racists.
Oh, my.
Because they're Confederate flags. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have for that. I don't care.
It just feels so hollow, doesn't it?
I just what's the point of this?
There's just, after last week where we got, a fair amount of stuff that felt like it moved along important plot
at least
lines.
Whatever his mental state was with this Confederate battlefield thing, he was still doing other things outside of he was trying to direct Bobby into doing stuff. This is just
a little bit the last time we saw him like that was when he was with Catherine.
It's just who cares? Why do I care about?
But now he's just full on lost. Yeah, and I'm the same way.
And he doesn't strike me. And honestly, he never struck me as the guy that would lose it.
Right, Ben Horn. Yeah,
he's always had his shit together. And nothing happened. Nothing really happened to make him. He lost some business ventures, but there's nothing that really is Not like if Audrey had died, maybe I'd take this. I'd go with this.
Right.
But like, what the fuck? He lost a couple battles. It's not like he's like fucking.
Well,
he got off. He got
house.
off because Catherine's not dead, and he won. He won. Why would like seems so fucking dumb.
You know, I do kind of wonder, like, what's to become of One-Eyed Jacks now with Jean Reno dead.
But who cares? It's not. Anyway, I just.
The whores care, don't they?
Sure, the whores care. Oh, the whores always care. But I just like.
An employee-owned whorehouse and casino.
I just don't think Mr. Horn would have lost his fucking marbles like this. I just don't get it.
It does, yeah. It feels like an excuse to give Richard Beymer a reason to stretch his comedic chops.
Or they just don't know what to do with him. So let's just put him over here and let him spin his wheels like everyone else in this goddamn show. Anyway.
I will tell you that he's not going to be like this for much longer. Thank Christ.
That's what I hear about everyone. It's not going to be like this for much longer. And then the show's over. So that's really useful. Really helpful, Gabe. Very helpful.
Episodes. There's a lot of time left. We haven't even met all of the characters yet. There are still people to be introduced.
Awesome.
So,
okay.
I
hope they do all the stuff that these other characters could have done, but don't. Okay.
In one case, that's true. Next, we see Major Briggs stumbling his way through the entrance to the sheriff's department, asking for the sheriff in person at Lucy's desk before collapsing. Smash cut to Harry, Coop, and the Major chugging water in Harry's office while Lucy waits patiently with a half-full pitcher. But they've all had their fill, and they excuse her to talk business. That was all very weird to me.
Are we okay?
I do want to talk about this transition from Briggs's entrance to like, okay, why are they all suddenly dehydrated?
This is okay. This like, I'm going to just explain it like this. It's like making a shitty indie film in every episode, and i.e. lazy choices, no restraint. Like it's just like, oh, that'd be funny. Let's just do it. But like. That you would do that in a shit movie, like when I was in high school, oh guys, you guys just all drink Coke at the same time. It'll just be funny, but there's no fucking reason for it. They just do it, and it's like maybe in this show where things should mean something, maybe not everyone should do that.
Right.
And then my other my other thing about this is like, they do this scene and then it's over, and it's like. He just was dehydrated? Like, what the fuck? No one ever explains to the fuck, why was he passing out? And he just needed water? I'm just like, and then we never see Mr. Briggs again. It's just like fucking, like, what was that scene about? Like, what the fuck was that about? I just like, I'm trying to, okay, I'll relax. Well, go ahead, Gabe. I'll
give the play-by-play, and then we can go deeper into the color commentary here. I did stop I set that up though. I'd stop midway through to complain about the weirdness already myself. But yeah, this whole scene just feels very, very off. Particularly with what went down with these three last week. It just doesn't fit at all. We're offered no explanation for the Major's fainting spell, but it's clear he's disturbed, as his debriefing by his superior seems to have shaken his faith in the Air Force and in his service of his country in general. He accuses them of paranoia and questions their true motivations in their search for the White Lodge, which is where he believes he was taken during his disappearance. The only real memory he takes away from that visit is that there is much trouble ahead. He leaves them with a cryptic, "I'll be in the shadows if you need me."
But still, no explanation. Did they torture him? He have to run through the desert to get to Coop? I don't, like, why is he fucking...
Yeah. Baffling choice. Makes no sense. I guess it serves to set up the urgency of the situation, but it needs some explanation behind it. Like, sorry for my dramatic entrance. I walked the great distance to get here. Something like that.
It's just like everything is just trying to be
I
shock
wonder if
value.
there's like a lot of
Everything's trying to be
maybe
shock
there's
value
some
with no
dialogue that had
explanation.
to
It's
be
like, oh,
cut
this is
for
crazy.
time.
This is crazy.
I
And
mean,
then
we
we
do
don't have
have
to
a
explain it.
first-time director in the chair here this week, so maybe that has something to do with it. But
Well, first-time director in Twin Peaks, but he's not a first-time director.
pretty inexperienced still at that point. But
Body of Evidence with Madonna.
oh God, I didn't get back that far. Oh, no wonder.
He's done a lot of
shit.
stuff. He's won like a Golden Globe. He's done some television with Ian McKellen, and yeah, I watched his stuff. He doesn't have like a massive filmography, but he's done some stuff.
No, yeah, I did a cursory glance, and it looked mostly like, especially the recent stuff, looked like he'd gone back to German television and films.
Yeah. But he's done some stuff.
I missed that '80s resume. We'll go into that later in the.
We don't need
the
to
wrap up a little bit. No, I'm curious now. Body of Evidence with Madonna and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, baby.
Andy calls Hawk and Cooper's. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything here. Nope. Okay. Andy calls Hawk and Cooper's attention to the conference room where Hawk is waiting with a big plate of donuts.
Donuts. Finally, I put Dr. finally Jacoby donuts. Finally donuts. Like where they been?
One this week though. And also Dr. Jacoby and the Widow Milford.
This is also a dumb plot that we could have just ended with. We didn't have to continue on this route. We could have like excised this and put some of this television story time to something else. But instead, no. Let's carry this bullshit forward even further.
If only.
Anyway, go ahead.
The good doctor has completed his psychological examination of Lana and has concluded that she is not cursed nor homicidal. She's just really, really good at sex.
Yeah, and he was just at up at the Great Northern just like 2 seconds ago.
Another
fighting
case.
A battle, a case. Like he's in high demand right now.
Yeah, of instantaneous travel syndrome, like Palpatine to Mustafar to save Vader's crispy ass.
Maybe he's got Leo's Corvette.
Bought it at the police auction, right?
Exactly.
Cooper congratulates her on this for some reason.
They both do. Harry and fucking...
Yeah, they shake her hand.
They're just like fucking...
That's awesome.
They're so horny. They're so horny at that moment.
Oh, Hawk too. You can tell.
Sure.
Cooper and the Doc and Lana excuse themselves to go bowling. Have we seen the bowling alley in Twin Peaks yet? I'm curious. I bet it's awesome. But no sooner has the door to the room closed than we hear Lana scream. The fellas draw their guns and rush out to the lobby to find Lana and Jacoby at the business end of a shotgun held by Mayor Milford.
Pistol grip pump on my life at all time.
He threatens to do away with Lana and, quote, the hippie too, before Cooper convinces everyone that the best course of action is to allow Lana and the mayor to discuss things alone in the conference room.
But you could kill Jacoby, because I put...
Yeah.
I put, what did I put here? Fuck Jacoby, a shit character. I feel like... I don't like this character. I have not liked this character from the very beginning. I think it's stupid. The way he's portrayed is dumb. I'm ready for him to be dead.
He's another character that's been totally aimless since Laura's death.
But even before that, he's just... I like the way he was portrayed, and I don't really like... And he's been very, like... I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck Jacoby, dude.
He's just there for the sake of being weird, you know?
He's like something out of a fucking, like, Beatles, like, when they... Where do they go? Like, Shangri-La?
Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, it's like, that's where he's been pulled out of that fucking time period. It's
just,
like, dumb.
That's what passed for eccentric in the 90s, is, you know, clinging to that 60s aesthetic.
Sergeant Jacoby.
I'm going to have to look this up, but Russ Tamblyn, the actor who plays Jacoby, I have to think he was pretty close to our age at this point.
Right. Now? Then?
During the filming, yeah. Anyway. Now, I mean, he's David Cross's father-in-law.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. He's the father of Amber Tamblyn, who was the actress in Joan of Arcadia, I think was her big gig for a while. But then, yeah, she got together with David Cross, and now she's a stay-at-home mom, and he
Like,
makes millions of dollars
I get
doing
this is
comedy.
supposed to be funny, that this girl is just like this sex witch, succubus type of character.
Yeah.
And Jacoby is just a dumb, funny looking character on top of that, and just doesn't bring anything to this. He doesn't bring anything to anything. He's just a dumb character.
Other than like a visual presence.
But
he's just,
I don't need it. Don't need it.
He's a weird painting on the wall. Now, my personal favorite part of this is when Cooper just starts talking to the mayor like he's a toddler, basically. Just like, now, Dwayne, you can always shoot later. Talk first.
Anyway.
That made me laugh. Like, Cooper's known this guy for all of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just talks to him like an old friend. He's like, now. So.
All right. Let's continue on.
Yeah. Cooper states the obvious course of action. We wait, fade to commercial, and then fade back in the exact same spot. That was something that always cracked me and Barry up as when we were younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was something you never saw on TV. You didn't fade back to the exact same scene from a commercial like that. It was pretty unheard of. And it worked for comedic effect, I think, because, kind of gave you that impression that you were waiting in real time. So anyway, as soon as Cooper decides that they've waited long enough, with a little amusing anecdote in the background, the men re-enter the conference room ready for action, but no action is necessary as Lana's feminine charms have worked just as easily on the mayor as they have on everyone else. Dwayne informs the crew that they've decided to adopt a child, and Lana leads him out of the office, remarking on how much like his brother the mayor is, while he apologizes to everyone for his boorish behavior.
And I said, derp.
Derp.
Maybe some more fucking water.
Anyway. I get, we get to see the mayor's smileless laugh again, which always cracks me up. We've decided to adopt a child. Oh, shit. I told myself I was going to look up this song because I recognized it, but I don't know the name. So we'll just refer to it as dramatic classical music.
Okay.
I want to say it's Tchaikovsky, but I don't think that's right.
I clearly didn't look it up or recognize it, so.
I recognized it from the old Hooked on Phonics album that came out way back in the day.
Okay.
Anyway, we get a good look at all the culturally appropriated decorations in the front of the Blue Pine Lodge. Back in the kitchen, Pete informs Catherine that Josie has already left to go shopping, but they forgot the weenies. That's okay, because Catherine has something way more important to show him right now. She's about to fill him in on how she was able to survive her assassination attempt and run her huge con that destroyed Ben Horne.
This is just a giant exposition scene. This is like, hey, hello, it's time to exposize. Let us begin.
That's exactly what I put in my notes here. Is like, this is all just exposition directly to Pete, who is your audience proxy right
Let's
here.
get this going. Fill you in on what's going on. If you haven't, and you know what's stupid? We all know.
Yeah,
we've all figured it out. We don't need this.
It was Andrew all along.
We've already seen Andrew. We already know. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
To answer the question we posed earlier, where has Andrew been? I'm going to posit that he's been at the very cabin that Catherine spoke of.
No.
Where she was recovering.
He leaves. He has a relationship with this other blonde at this place, and he likes cars, and then... he comes back to there, but then he's over there too, and
he's got a fallback.
He beats her and stuff, makes her feel like shitty, and that's why he's always traveling back and forth. And
wears a mustache when he goes.
Totally doesn't have to be, but that totally could have worked. If all this other stupid shit that you fuckers, Twin Peaks fans, are fucking believing. We could have easily pulled off the fact that Andy had this other, like, kind of side hustle wife that he was fucking and, like, beating and doing all this other shady shit to.
Oh, that makes, that assumes that Andrew is an important character.
He's
or a character that people care about.
You're assuming that whole other subplot was important characters that we care about. Clearly, this show has made it abundantly clear that we have to care about a bunch of characters we shouldn't care about. So I'm trying to tie it all in and make it. We could have made something more interesting. I'm just saying that is something I would have done just to make it more interesting. Anyway, sorry. I don't want.
Interesting pitch. I agree. It would have been way more interesting than any of this other.
Let's make it more soap opera. If we're gonna go full soap opera, we got to go full soap opera. You can't go half soap opera.
Oh no, you got to go full on.
Sorry, Gabe.
Yeah. So basically, it was Andrew all along. He fills in a flabbergasted Pete on the whole backstory between him and Eckhart, which is honestly pretty derivative and dull.
Yeah, it's just
there's not much we don't know already, and it all just kind of leads to the next scene, which is Eckhart's assistant checking them in at the Great Northern while he stares ominously into the large fire in the lobby as it reflects back at him in his sunglasses.
Holy shit, it's TGRI guy. That's where I'm gonna pull him from. I know he's been in a shit ton of stuff, but when I saw him, I was like, I just saw Ninja Turtles in my head going, "Hey, it's that TGRI guy."
Yeah, Professor something or other. I don't remember.
Yeah.
The thing I remember him the most from is the original Tron, OG Tron.
Oh yeah, OG Tron, 100%. I remember that too. Yeah.
Sark, I think, was the bad guy's name.
He's been in so much shit. He's just a character actor. He's been like a million fucking things, dude.
One of the things that I always loved him for was he provided the voice of Ra's al Ghul in the classic Batman animated series from the 90s.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not as cool as TGRI guy, but that's pretty cool.
There were a lot of surprise guest stars that were villains on that show from the Hollywood tip. We all know that Mark Hamill, of course, was the Joker.
But we also had... I had you for a second.
Right. You did. That was pretty convincing for a second. But we also did get Roddy McDowall as the Mad Hatter. Ron Perlman was Clayface.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah. I actually think they had two different actors play Clayface, but Ron Perlman was one of them.
That's cool.
And I think David Warner also may have been the Clock King in one episode.
Just go back and
animated series?
Oh,
dude, I've got that on DVD. Dude. I have the whole run.
Anyway,
is that our next podcast? Cap it off with Mask of the
Blank as a bat.
Dude, for me, Kevin Conroy is Batman forever and ever. Every Batman comic I will read for the rest of my life, I will hear his voice.
That's weird. I don't know who I hear when I read Batman comics. Because there's been so many great Batmans, and they're all kind of different and awesome in their own way. We shouldn't talk about this right now.
No, we should.
This is a different thing.
This is a very, very deep tangent. We're both huge Batman.
But maybe we should do a Batman podcast. I don't know. There's probably too many of those, but that'd be kind of fun. Anyway.
Oh yeah, like there's no shortage of Twin Peaks podcasts. Trust me. I mean, I'm sure there's way more Batman podcasts, but I agree that one would be fun. That's a good idea. Fade to the exterior, and Snohomish Falls in the dark. Ooh, spooky. And now Lucy and Doc Hayward are making their way into the sheriff's station with Dick in tow. The Doc has purpose in his stride as he sternly summons Andy into the sheriff's office for a chat. But Andy needs a little prodding from Lucy before he actually heads in there. I did laugh at that scene where Andy just peeps his head and then just moves right back to where he was. And then she says it again and then he runs. Meanwhile, Harry asks Coop for a favor. He's seen a report over the wire showing that Jonathan, Josie's cousin, assistant, whatever, was murdered in Seattle.
Secret Asian man is dead.
Okay. Well, that headline was just Asian man found murdered.
That's not funny.
And you thought I was racist for saying secret Asian man. Coop asks Harry if he thinks Josie had something to do with it. Well, Seems like that's the help. That's what he wants his help with. Pretty obvious, isn't it?
Right.
In Harry's office, Doc Hayward is giving Andy and Dick a thorough verbal dressing down while he explains little Nicky's unfortunate history. His mother was an immigrant rape victim who died in childbirth, and he was shuffled around foster homes until he was adopted by a loving, caring couple who died in a car accident that Nicky was the sole survivor of at the age of 6.
6.
6! The two nitwits are thoroughly chastened and reduced to tears, and the scene is oddly punctuated by Lucy swatting a tremendously bloody fly onto some paperwork.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
You didn't see that?
I don't know why I missed that.
Yeah, the last part of the scene is just like Lucy slapping down a fly, and it just leaves a huge blood stain on some file on Harry's desk.
I wasn't writing notes. I didn't really write anything. I don't know.
You were drinking a beer, trying to wash your brain.
Just being like, what the
fuck? That you had just watched.
I feel like I do a good job of paying attention. That I clearly didn't witness.
Oh, no, dude. That was a scene that everybody would have lost attention to.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, it was a very weird choice to end the scene. I would recommend you go back and watch it again and see if you can glean some sort of meaning from it.
I almost feel like I want to, because I don't feel like I was watching it. I wonder if it's even in there. Do you think they edit these?
It's possible. I mean, you're watching them on Paramount, right?
Yeah, Paramount Plus, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm watching them on the disc, so yeah. Go back and watch that scene again and let me know if it's there or not, because it's definitely on the DVD.
Okay.
Well, James either took all day long to mope or all day long to pack, as he's still shoving clothes into bags in his room at Evelyn's house. She shows up and for some reason seems surprised he's still planning on leaving. Once again, she claims that she loves him and that she's never said that to anyone, tears running down her cheeks, but James is unmoved. Well, he'd better start moving, as there are sirens coming up the driveway. A look of realization is starting to come over James's stupid face as Evelyn informs him that Jeffrey died in a car accident earlier today. As James loudly realizes he's been set up as a patsy, Evelyn blames the whole thing on Malcolm, whom she confesses is not actually her brother. She tells James to go find that young woman who loves him, and he flees the house with only his jacket, not the bag he spent all day packing with his 3 shirts.
So before we move outside, I just say James knows it's wrong, but not because James knows it's wrong because she's married, not because he's underage. What the fuck? LOL.
I mean, he ordered a beer at a bar, so
he must be 18.
He considers himself.
Maybe they're in
adult.
Canada. Maybe there's different rules up there in Canada. By
and large, that line between child and adult was very different in the 90s.
All right, cue Donna is.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying it is. Yeah, lucky for him, Donna is waiting outside behind a tree. She must have followed Evelyn home or something. And she helps him evade the police as they meet Evelyn in the driveway to take her statement. James lingers like a jackass, staring after Evelyn, and Donna literally has to drag him away. Fucking hell, James.
Real cops.
Is this like
real cops?
Is
though.
it because
not fake cops like up there at Twin Peaks? Real cops, cars,
right?
lights, doing cop stuff.
Yeah, real like what cops. Jurisdiction does this rural house fall under?
Canada, but they're not mountains.
Canada. No, they're not. They're not in Canada. They're out east. Yeah,
way out east.
So yeah, the only thing I can come up with is that Evelyn kind of, sort of, a little bit looks like Laura, and that's why James is so enamored with her. I don't know.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. And he's clearly not that enamored with her.
I mean, not enough where he's going to like.
No.
I don't. Yeah, it's just
a stupid plot line that
I didn't get it then.
There's a lot of that going on in this season.
It's just
like you said, Gabe. You said there's a lot of stupid. But I feel like this whole back half of the season is a missed opportunity. I feel like I could have made a banger fucking show if they would have made me. I mean, I was like what 13 back then, but I'm just
13,
saying
yeah.
right now, watching this,
We need to
it's
have
like
RoboCop.
no, but I'm just watching this right now as a me right now. It's like the choices I would have made, and just how I would have like maybe they wouldn't have all hit, but I just would have made all those characters like I wouldn't have really introduced new characters unless just to like stir the pot of the whole group. But like this, they really satellite all the groups of characters into like different. Whereas before they were all kind of centered around this one thing that was going on, this death of Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have moved it around this whole like investigation of Coop, but like still had it kind of centered around him. Like you move any of those characters outside of Twin Peaks, they're instantly stupid, not worthy. It's like James outside of Twin Peaks. What's the point of that? Let him go. If he goes outside Twin Peaks, that's the end of his character. Like that's it. You know, it's like no, there's nothing outside of Twin Peaks. You know,
at least there shouldn't be, as far as James is concerned,
or anybody. Anyone leaves, it's like that's just anyway.
And there's like any of the teenagers we haven't, with the exception of Audrey, we haven't seen any of the teenagers interact with the local adults at all.
Or really, like very few of like you should have them all be together once in a while, maybe. I don't know. There's like, dude. I could have come up with something so much better than this back half.
It just it
fucking
really
drives me
like
nuts.
They had not planned for having to fill this back half without the mystery of Laura to carry it.
And it's a rough show to begin with, in my opinion. Like I know there's you and there's other people that love Twin Peaks but for someone like me who's finding it rough to kind of and trying to. It's like it's fine, and then it's just like this blown out, like it's just like it was like blown out of fucking blunderbuss, and it's just like this back end of the season is like what the fuck? You should have kept it all together and tight. The writers are fucking lost their minds.
You know, I'm pretty sure that most people would tell you that this stretch of 8 episodes that we're like, this is our second or third one in, is the roughest stretch. You know, I don't think anybody would disagree with you that this is all the worst part.
But the problem with that is like there was so much. I think there was so much like possibility, and they just squandered it. Like I don't know how much of that was squandered because of shooting schedules, because of lack of availability of certain actors. But what else were they fucking doing? None of these other actors are really doing anything. Like when does A Few Good Men happen? And he wasn't acting that much. And when does Wayne's World happen? And she's not only in the beginning of that fucking film. Like, give me the fucking break.
Filming at this point.
Give me a fucking break. But like, she's not into that much. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, and this show's not on that much. It's like fucking pushed and like I don't know. I would have tried to make. Anyway, I'm getting angsty and upbeat. And
let the hate flow through you.
I just feel like the end of the show could have been awesome. I think they squandered it. Like I think maybe this show honestly could have saved itself if they had good writers. I blame the writers. We
haven't seen the end of the show yet.
I blame their but I don't know if
I'm not going
I'm going to blame the writers and the showrunners. I'm blaming them 100% for the failure of the show. I think they could have saved this fucking show. Okay.
We don't know what kind of wild ideas that they had that the network wouldn't let them do, but
I would have done something crazy. I would have like gone for it.
Hey,
I would have had like fucking Coop kill himself or something. I would have like gone for something like wild. I don't know, but they didn't do that probably. No.
Well,
we'll see.
We got about 8 hours worth to find out.
I think so.
Fade to the forest, where a disoriented and delirious Leo has been wandering for the entire day now, it would seem.
Leo versus Owl.
Yeah. Leo versus nature. He comes across an isolated cabin with a light in the window and the sounds of a flute from within. He instinctively makes his way inside. The unseen flautist puts down his instrument and picks up a gun instead while remaining in the shadows. When Leo retreats in fear, he reassures him and bids him to enter, telling him he's a friend and he will help him. As the man takes a seat in the light next to an ornate chessboard on the table, he introduces himself as Wyndham Earl. The wind dramatically blows open the window and extinguishes the lamp on the table. Roll credits.
So here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very effective. I fucking hate Leo, but it's all very effective with the Wyndham Earl stuff. He sits down, it's like windy. I would have done something different, like windy and the flame kind of flickers and the leaves fly in, and then he introduces himself. You can call me. I think he says, you can call me Wyndham Earl. Wyndham Earl. And then roll credits. The whole idea that he says that, and then it does this weird shot where it like fucking cuts and like the fucking gums through the window and it blows out the candle and it goes dark on the chessboard. It's just like, do we need that? That's dumb. That's just like so goofy and catty, and it's like
saying Voldemort's name or something.
It's like, oh, I'm a badass motherfucker, and then like ice cream melts. It's just like, who cares? Like he already did the thing. He did the thing. He did the reveal. Now cut. Not he says the thing, he does the thing, and then you have this whole other scene of like just stupid shit that no one cares about, and then you roll credits. At this point, I was like, this episode's been pretty competently made, edited, fine, blah blah. Until that ending is just like, whose choice was that? That's dumb. When he says the name Wyndham Earl, that's your cut.
That's your fade to black.
That's 100% your cut. You don't cut to another scene and do something stupid. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but that's what you fucking do.
I would say the show is way more old-fashioned than you are.
You say that, but I would go to 100 years of film and like maybe
they were trying something new.
Well, failed miserably.
Being subversive. Failed miserably.
It wasn't subversive. It's just sub-dumb. It's like, it's not even subversive because it's not really. It's just reiterating the fact that there's chess and there's darkness, and it's just like, okay, like maybe if he says, maybe if you really want to play it up, my name's Wyndham, and then it blows out, goes dark, and Earl. You could do any other ways. But, like, don't like, do that, then cut, it's light, and then it goes dark on the chest. It's just, like, it's stupid. Anyway, I don't know why I'm so caught up by that, but I just think it's such a dumb, unnecessary scene. It's so, like, pacing-wise, it's stupid as fuck. Anyway.
I understand the idea of the ending shot being on the chessboard, because that's kind of the center of the whole theme between Cooper and Earl right now. But yeah, I think your way would have had more impact.
So here you do it this way then. There's a million ways to cut this. I'm a professional, Gabe. I have ideas. You show him I'm Wyndham. And then you pan down, he moves a chess piece, Wyndham Earl, and as he moves the chess piece into play, blows out. It's like, okay, it's in that same beat. You want it in the same beat as I'm Wyndham Earl.
The cut is what's bothering you.
It's the pace. It's the pace.
If it had panned down after he said that, instead of doing the smash cut, like if they'd have just panned straight down from his face to the board.
The beat is,
and then the wind
I'm Wyndham. I'm Wyndham Earl. It doesn't matter. The ending has to happen at the end of Earl. It can't go on for another 10 seconds. Like, when he says Earl, so like if he says Wyndham, then you pan down, Wyndham Earl, that's fine. It's just the pacing and the beat. It's like, it's about pacing. Film, editing, all it is about pacing and the beat. It's like telling a good joke. So like when he tells the punchline, then you're stuck around for another like 10, 15 seconds to watch this chessboard, and it's just like, Well, that seems really lazy. Like, who cares? We already know that guy was the guy. It's like unimportant. Like, you would have to illustrate it. I don't know. These are things that you learn through editing and video, when you're producing content. It's like you're looking for the rhythm. And the rhythm anyway, I don't want to be like mansplaining this kind of bullshit.
You're up.
No, but it's important. It's like dropping a beat. It's like anything. It's probably like wrestling too for some of that shit. Like, when something's good because it just happens. But if they drag it out and then they do it, or then they drag out an ending to it, it just seems fake. Like, doesn't seem like, that doesn't seem like you really earned that or something. It just, that ending of this episode didn't feel earned because they just drug it out, and it's just like,
it's a weird little coda to the whole thing.
Anyway,
these
are. It's fine. It's a television show. It's a minor gripe that I really fucking. So this is my final comment.
Mm-hmm.
Competently made, but nothing special. So like, it was directed, shot. It looked fine. It doesn't look weird. It had no weird cuts except for the ending, but like, whatever. Lots of plots just happening, but nothing really takes center stage in this episode. So this is a lot of weird shit going on in this episode. Like, there's a lot of stuff just happening, but nothing. Yeah. There's no like main plot that's really driving this episode. Really.
No, yeah, it's just a lot of little plots just moving along.
It just seems like
episode.
So my last just to finish my comment. Mostly just a clusterfuck, and I think just that's why I think no one really cares. And then everyone just wants this. I think at this point, let's just wrap this up and move on. I think that's kind of where we're at, right?
They are definitely losing ground in the ratings at this point.
Anyway, that's my kind of wrap up summary. I haven't done one of those, but this was my first one. I thought I really felt like, wow. It's just like, but this episode's just like, shoo, 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 shoo. Everyone, it's just like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is. And it moves fast.
It does.
But it didn't seem to be keeping everybody's attention. We did skip a week for a preemption on January 26th, but this episode aired on February 2nd, 1991, and the ratings continue to slide. We're at the lowest rating to this point. That's a 5.6.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, okay, this is a weird thing to kind of ask, but like, this show hasn't really been airing week to week for how long? Like, there
were some gaps, mostly for holiday programming, so that's an expected.
So when's the last time it's been like shown week to week? Like, and has it been week to week? Was the last episode week to week, or I don't know?
Previous 2 episodes aired back to back. Yes.
Okay.
So here's the schedule. The episode where they revealed the killer aired November 10th.
Okay.
That was when they popped the big 10.4 rating. They had a week after that. Then they were preempted for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Then they had 3 consecutive episodes.
Okay.
Then they were preempted for 3 consecutive weeks due to the holidays.
Holy, 3 weeks though. Jesus.
Yeah. Those slots were December 22nd, December 29th, and January 5th.
Damn.
Some of this may be sports programming. There could be football playoffs involved here that are causing this.
Just Home Alone.
Yeah.
No. Oh, Wonderful Life.
No, that's in the theater still, remember?
Wonderful. You're right. I'm sorry. That's why I said It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we had January 12th and 19th back-to-back episodes. 26th was a preemption. Then we have February 2nd, 9th, and 16th will all air episodes consecutively. Then we get the big preemption where it's off the air for 5 full weeks.
What was that for? Olympics?
I don't know. I haven't really done research into that yet.
That's wild. 5 weeks.
I don't think there were Olympics in 91. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, from between
Is that the
December.
war?
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of war going on.
Iraq shit going on.
Or maybe they just
just took it off.
Else in its place, but it doesn't say pulled from schedule. Like it does say pulled from schedule later. But yeah, so February 16th. Then they did not air another episode from that until March 28th. So 6 weeks. And at that point, they moved it back to Thursdays opposite Cheers.
So where's this episode lie?
This is at the first set of 3 in a row before the big preemption.
Oh, okay. So we haven't hit the big preemption yet. Gotcha.
No. But we have hit our lowest episode rating so far. That is a 5.6. That's 8.7 million people watching. 11% of households. 83rd on the week.
It's wild, man. If they only knew.
That's a full point loss over the previous episode. Previous episode was 6.6. We drop a full point to 5.6. That's a big drop.
I really appreciate it if you could find out why they were off the air for 5 weeks.
I am going to look into that. I am.
You don't have to do it now. We could do it for another episode.
No, not this very second. Yeah.
I would really.
That's going to take more time than I have right now. But yeah, that interests me because it does say pulled from schedule, but that doesn't happen until later. So let's talk about the director.
Were you watching this episode? This is just on recorded, or you came back to it way later, or what is your situation?
When I was a kid?
Yeah, like when you were watching this back as a kid, is this like one of those recorded episodes, or you watched this one live?
This was one of the ones that I came back to after a long break. So there was 3, depending on how that preemption schedule worked, there were a couple of weeks of material that I had missed. Like I didn't originally see the resolution to the Jean Reno storyline at Dead Dog Farm. I didn't see him die. Didn't see any of that shit. But I do have distinct memories of this episode. And one of the things I remember thinking when I was a kid is during the big exposition scene with Pete and Andrew and Catherine.
Right.
I thought, Pete's faking this. Pete knows all this already. Pete's working for Eckhart. That was the impression I got because it all just seemed too phony from him. And maybe it was just half-assed acting on Jack Nance's part.
He's always kind of seems like he's half-acting though. When you having watching these consistently, his character is the most consistent, but he always just seems kind of
I mean, he's comic relief and he knows it.
Right.
He's never really given anything serious to do.
Yeah.
Aside from the one time when he went into the fire to look for Catherine. That's literally the only moment of seriousness.
He's kind of a bumbling idiot
out of
character,
him.
He's kind of...
yeah, and that's the way he's written, and I'm sure that's the way it was explained to him. So, but, he gets a few moments to shine later on, but I won't spoil those for you.
Does he really shine? Like a diamond?
Well, we'll see.
Does he shine like a diamond?
Like a diamond. So yeah, director
like a diamond
in
the sky.
Uli Edel, who was a one and done as far as this series goes. This is his only episode of Twin Peaks. But as Ian tells me, he has a pretty interesting resume. So let's go back and look at it.
I don't think he has a pretty interesting resume. He's done some work.
Yeah. Starting on German television and film, it seems, back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yes.
As a writer, mainly, but also as a director, chiefly in television.
Yes.
Das Ding. First U.S. credit that I see is the film Last Exit to Brooklyn. Is that the Chaz Palminteri movie?
I don't know. I didn't click on it. I just saw body of evidence. I was like, holy shit, Madonna? And then there's some mini series or television thing that he did with Ian McKellen and someone else that won Golden Globes. So he's done some stuff, but then he kind of disappears.
The Last Exit of Brooklyn is not who I thought it was. Okay, yeah, there's Body of Evidence. It actually came after Twin Peaks.
Okay.
He did an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if he did. I guess he did.
Yeah. Came the Dawn was the name of that one. We had a TV movie called Confessions of Sorority Girls. The Tyson biography TV film. Was that an HBO movie?
I don't know.
Here's the Rasputin TV movie that he directed that earned Alan Rickman an Emmy nomination for the title role.
And Ian McKellen a Golden Globe, right?
Okay, yeah, that would have been the same thing. Yeah, because this was he played Tsar Nicholas II. Oh, and look
directed
at this. David
Legends.
Warner was in it too.
He's directed Legends. Madonna, Alan Rickman, Ian McKellen,
and David Warner turning up here as well.
There you go. See.
What else? Back to TV for Homicide: Life on the Street. Oz. Mists of Avalon. Yeah, not much interesting stuff here after the 90s.
He had a little bit of a peak, but like it just kind of goes away. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like his last major U.S. project was the Houdini TV series that aired on the History Channel. Lasted all of 2 episodes. Well, it says mini-series, so maybe that was intentional. But yeah, it seems like he's been mostly back to German television since then. Writer of this episode was Scott Frost. I think we all saw that one coming.
Scott Frost? No wonder why it's so fucking frosty.
No, yeah, not his first episode.
Not his best episode.
So, yeah, we don't need to discuss that any further. There wasn't very much interesting trivia to note about this episode. Yeah, it's all just real basic shit. We didn't talk about Kenneth Welsh, who is the actor who portrays Wyndham Earle. We had a fun little story here where you talked about how you recognized Gavin O'Herlihy, Mountie King, as being from Willow, because you'd quite literally never seen him in anything else.
Right.
So up until...
Do I need to
I'd say...
Do I know this guy? I didn't really recognize him. What is his name?
No. Kenneth Welsh is the actor's name. So I never saw him in anything besides Twin Peaks until 3 months ago, which was the first time I watched The Expanse.
Oh, is he in The Expanse?
He's in the first season, yes. He's the ambassador to Mars.
This is awful because I didn't watch the first season. But
well, that's not going to be helpful then, because I'm pretty sure that's the only season he was in. But, yeah, so having never seen him in any other work in over 30 years, for him to turn up just randomly while we're doing this podcast and something else I was watching, I thought was pretty wild. But then it happened again. When I went back to Colorado in June, I watched a movie with my parents, a John Singleton movie called Four Brothers, which is a Mark Wahlberg vehicle.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't remember him in it.
You wouldn't have recognized him. He's pretty nondescript. He plays a lawyer who had been dating their murdered mother.
Okay.
But he's like the guy that they break into his house and kind of beat him up a little bit before they apologize to him.
Okay.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy that, like, I'd never seen him in anything for my entire life. And then within months of starting this podcast, he turns up in just 2 things I randomly happened to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, a little bit of serendipity.
Yeah, I didn't really recognize him. I was like...
No, yeah. Let's look into Kenneth Welsh's what's the word that you filmography? That's the fancy word.
Deep dive into his cool shit that he's
done. Still working to this day. Latest appearance is in a film called Campton Manor, which has a 3.4 star rating on IMDb. Yuck. He appeared in an episode of the Kids in the Hall revival. Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
2 episodes of Charmed. 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Yeah, boy, he's been getting around.
He's done a lot of stage stuff, a lot of stage work.
Well, a lot of one-offs on TV dramas. Also made an appearance in Undercover Grandpa, The Blacklist.
He was in Time Cop.
He was in Time Cop. Oh, you've gone back farther than I have at this point. I'm still reading all the shit that nobody knows. Human Target, The Last Templar, Kit Kittredge, An American Girl.
He was the vice president in The Day After Tomorrow.
He was in the Bionic Woman revival, which only aired a pilot before it got canceled.
I guess he was in The Aviator. You're right. He's in Four Brothers. Dude, he's in the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer as Dr. Jeff Wagner.
Oh, wow.
Man, this guy's he just works.
Prolific, yeah.
Like just tiny parts, but he just works.
Well, Lonesome Dove, the series.
Oh, really? Oh,
his character's name is The Colonel. So I'm going to try and scout before Twin Peaks and see what it was that might have caught the attention of the makers. Nothing I'm seeing.
Twilight Zone?
TV movies.
Twin Peaks. So he's in the rest of the episodes of Twin Peaks. It says 10 episodes he's in.
Yep. They're counting his voice. His voiceover as one of those credits, but yes, he does appear in every episode for the rest of the series.
Gotcha.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Dude, Kung Fu the Legend Continues. I love that show, dude. I love
never
all Kung
watched
Fu.
it.
I like Kung Fu. Kung Fu the Legend Continues. I love that shit.
But you're not a Jackie Chan guy for some reason. Is that right?
No, I like Jackie Chan.
Oh, okay.
Why would what?
I'm confusing you with someone else
that just doesn't like Jackie Chan. Who doesn't like Jackie Chan? I remember we used to watch like these old like the American and then the Hong Kong Jackie Chan movies, and then when Rumble in the Bronx was announced that like is his first like American theater film, even though it's made in Canada, but it's like holy shit, we all got to go. We went and saw that in the theater like 2-3 times, dude. It's like, holy shit.
I saw it twice in the theater, yeah. I saw it on somebody else's recommendation who knew his earlier work.
But his last... So, like, from there... and sorry, guys. Suck it. There's this... So, he hadn't been in an American film since this fucking weird one where he's, like, roller skate brawling. I forget what it's called. That's his last American film before he left America and went back to just making films in Hong Kong and shit. It's like, I forget what it's fucking called. But we used to rent that all the time and watch it because this is fucking hilarious. It's just so stupid.
Roller skate ball.
Yeah, it's like...
I don't know that I've seen that one.
Oh, you have to watch it. Because then he goes back and makes all these classic films in Hong Kong. But then it's like, oh, now you're going to break again. And then Rumble in Bronx.
Well, Mr. Nice Guy was an Australian movie, right?
Yeah, but that's also after Rumble in the Bronx.
That's true.
No,
and a lot of the American releases after that were just re-releases of old Hong Kong shit.
Let me find it. Now we're going to... Go ahead. Keep talking about Twin Peaks. I'll find the Jackie Chan movie.
We don't have much else in the way of trivia to note here. The Blog Lady intro for this episode is not terribly interesting.
I don't get those, so I don't know what those are. Like unless you bring them up, I have no fucking clue what that shit is about.
Yeah, it's the story behind those is that when Twin Peaks was rerun on the Bravo cable network back in 1993, David Lynch wrote these introductions for each episode that he had Catherine Coulson perform as the Log Lady. They generally relate to the episode. When they seem important, I bring them up, but this one, it just seemed like some stream of consciousness bullshit, but it's short, so I'll read it. The heart. It is a physical organ, we all know. But how much more an emotional organ? This we also know. Love, like blood, flows from the heart. Are blood and love related? Does a heart pump blood as it pumps love? Is love the blood of the universe? So, take that for what you will.
That's aggressive, right?
It was a pretty aggressive reading.
You should do it more aggressive, Gabe. You should
more curious. I needed the more curious tone for that one. That was me just thinking it was stupid dialogue. Oh yeah, this is some weak ass trivia on IMDb for this one. So we're gonna ignore it. I think we've discussed all the guest stars that we care to discuss.
God, I can't find this film.
Still researching Jackie Chan. Boy, yeah, pretty dull episode this week.
It is kind of like just a weird kind of.
Our content reflects the content of the show, and the show doesn't have much to say this week, so neither do we. So I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up and have our Jackie Chan discussion and post show.
It was The Big Brawl. The Big Brawl.
I have seen The Big Brawl. That's the one that's set in like the 20s, right?
Yeah, something like that. But it's like it's a U.S. film. At least it's one of the most U.S. films he made. It has a lot of Hong Kong stuff, but it's one of the Anyway, it's fucking weird. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, but
I remember being
silly.
Less than impressed by it.
Oh, it's not. It's not by any means as awesome, but like.
Oh no.
It's he like kind of stops doing the U.S. stuff. They all go back. It's like a U.S. Hong Kong partnership film. It doesn't do that great. He did some Cannonball Run stuff, obviously. And
he was in Cannonball Run. That's
then
right.
He just goes back to Hong Kong and makes a shit ton of movies, and then comes back with Rumble in the Bronx. But anyway.
And then Rush Hour.
Because that's like 1980, I think. Yeah, Big Brawl.
Big Brawl?
Yeah.
80 or 82, yeah.
I think it's 80. It says 80.
Yeah, I watched that one.
It's not that great, but it's funny.
No. That first spring of COVID lockdown.
Oh, really?
I did a personal Jackie Chan film festival where I watched 20 Jackie Chan movies in 20 days. I think I skipped a couple of days, so it ended up being like 24 or something. But Big Brawl was one of them because I was able to find that one for free on Amazon or something.
Yeah, that's the history there. I think that's the one that kind of brought him here. And I don't know what Cannonball Run is. Cannonball in the late 70s, and I don't know what the sequel is.
He wasn't in the original, was he? He was in one of the sequels.
I think he's in both of them.
Maybe.
I think he's in both of them. Anyway,
we'll look that up later.
When
we're not boring.
Jackie Chan Peaks.
Yeah. It's a podcast about nothing.
Isn't that what this is?
That's pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, folks. You know where to find us on the socials. We're at Blank as a Fart on Instagram, Blank as a Fart on Facebook, Blank as a Fart on Threads, which is just still depressing. The Gmail, Blank as a Fart pod at gmail.com.
You can also find us right here on twitch.tv.com/The Couch Co-op Show that hosts the Blank as a Fart podcast. You can find us every Wednesday night around 8 o'clock. You can pop on. You can talk shit. You can tell us that we don't know shit, and we can tell you to fuck off. Or you can just be friendly, and we'll be cool, and we'll just have a cool time. Anyway.
We'd prefer the latter.
We had some people in here tonight, but no one said anything.
Oh, really?
We got up to 4 people.
No shit.
We have 3 right now. I'm kind of like, but no one really wants to say anything. Maybe they're just shy, or they're just listening. I don't know.
Or they're not at a keyboard. Who knows?
They just at their phone and they don't want stay on target. I don't know. Anyway, you can also find us at youtube.com/milkmanpictures. That's my personal YouTube page. That's where I house all my content. So all the podcasts I do, like Blank as a Fart, which is crazy because we get the most play through my YouTube page, generally. So, which is funny. I think we get about.
Wonder if it just has the best search algorithm or something.
I don't know. We get like about 5 listens on Spotify. I don't know what iTunes is because I haven't logged into that forever. I imagine it's about 5 or 10. And then, Nano Witch came back. That's who's hanging out.
Hey.
I was listening while playing GW2. What is that? Garden Warfare 2? I'm guessing it's Garden Warfare 2. Like, she's hey, Nano Witch. Thanks for popping in and saying hey again.
Garden Warfare.
You should just pop in and say, hey, I'm here. I'm lurking, listening.
We appreciate you coming back.
Really,
joining us.
Oh my God, you're the only person that's come back.
That's our one repeat visitor.
Our one repeat visitor. We really appreciate you. That's awesome. Look at Gabe. We have what do you call that? Someone like
a fan.
Well, no, we don't know that. We don't know if they're a fan, but like there's someone who always sits at the bench at the bar, like a
regular.
A regular. Oh, Guild Wars 2. Oh, the RPG MMO. Guild Wars. Oh, high level. Guild Wars. Sorry. I forget about Guild Wars 2. Man, sometimes I forget that game's still around. That's cool. All right. Nano Witch, thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry if we're just talking. I don't even think you care about Twin Peaks, right? I think she just. I actually started watching Twin Peaks, Lil, so I would know what you guys were talking about. No shit, you're fucking kidding me.
All right.
What episode are you at? Like, you got to the second one and like said, "Nah, I'm out." Because let me tell you, it's my first time watching all this stuff too, and it's pretty rough.
I mean, yeah, if you get bored of watching the show, you can just go back and watch our old episodes.
Yeah, just watch us. If you
everything that happens.
Lurker would be the Twitch. Yeah, Lurker would be the Twitch term. But are you like, do you watch the first episode and be like, "Meh, I'm out," or are you seriously trying? I'm curious. Like, we would understand. You don't have to go, we did all these podcasts, season 2. Wait, no, you're on season 2, episode 20. Wait. No. You've watched all those episodes? Have you seriously watched all those?
She's all the way caught up from last week. She binged the entire series.
You've binged the entire thing?
Wow.
What? You're not serious.
That's great. That's amazing.
You're not serious. I don't know. She's thinking about it.
Is she thinking? That's wild. I love
her answer was season 2, episode 22. It's like, what? There's no way. You just fucking binged all that shit?
That's where see, if she means episode 22 overall, then yeah, that's where we're at right now.
That's wild.
That's awesome. That's wild. Hey, Nano Witch, we love that dedication. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate you like coming back and just popping in. You shouldn't. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I need something to watch while I'm doing laundry and dishes. I appreciate you so much.
Amazing.
That's
so
amazing.
Much, that's great.
And make yourself known next week. If you're going to come back next week, just say, hey, I'm here. We'll ask you questions. Now that you're watching too, we can say what you think. I would like to hear what you think. What did you think of this fucking episode? It was pretty stupid, right? I don't know. Do you like the show? Is it fucking awful? I think it's dumb. I would love to know your opinion.
It's always we like to open this up to discussion.
Yeah, we'd love to know some other opinions. I don't know. I would just love to. Yeah, I mean, I think this is what Gabe and I have wanted. Just someone else kind of chiming in. That's why we put it out on Twitch. So, you don't have to be silent if you don't want to be. You can totally be like, yeah, fuck that shit. Ian's wrong. He's a fucking dumbass. Or I'm right, which I love and just take to the bank.
Why is it Ian's wrong and a dumbass? Why is that the one you always lead with instead of you being right the first time?
Because obviously I hate myself, Gabe.
It comes from a place of self-loathing.
Yes, 100%. Anyway, I'm hoping she'll reply soon so we can. Anyway, but yeah, that's awesome. We have a regular.
Glad to have you, Nano Witch. Thanks again for coming in.
This is what we hope for. Even in this small, kind of tiny.
This is what the internet is all about, folks.
It has. Okay, so she said, Nano Witch says, it has its moments, but yeah, your comment about the age gap relationships. How can no one say, hey, am I going to jail for this? Right? I'm glad
Seems obvious in this day and age, doesn't
right?
it?
Pretty obvious. Back then, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe in the 90s, I could have just been fucking older women at 13 years old, I guess. I didn't know I could have, but I guess I could have. I don't know.
I mean, there was a lot of... What was the gal's name? Mary Kay Letourneau, I think.
Oh my God, let's not get
into that. Whole story was a little romanticized, wasn't it?
She does like the first season better than the second season.
Yeah, everybody does.
So then, after this season, Nano Witch, we're gonna take a little bit of a pause. We're gonna do some movies. We're gonna do the Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me movie. You'll hear about this, obviously, if you're gonna stick around with us.
And you won't want the kids in the room for that one, trust me.
And then we might do We might do Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway, just as like just to kind of like prepare us for some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna do the Return, which was on HBO. It's like the main all David Lynch. So that's kind of
Showtime.
Or Showtime. You're right. Sorry. Showtime. That's kind of like that's the planned progression of this podcast. So, and then Gabe and I might decide to do something totally different after that. We don't know what yet.
The possibilities are endless.
We'll probably just keep the name blank as a fart, but we'll probably do something else so people like you who listen to us and watch us, it's not hard to find us. But anyway, we really appreciate that you are listening, and the fact that you popped on and you've been hanging out. We love it.
Yeah, makes us feel good.
I will have to find. I will have to find where I can watch the movie. That way I'm prepared. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm gonna. I think it's on Paramount Plus. I'm not quite sure. I have to find it. I have to find it too. I don't know. Or Gabe and I are gonna watch it together. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do for that.
Yeah, I got the DVDs, so that makes it easy for me.
But the DVD, the quality,
the box set, even.
Oh, anyway, yeah. So I'm dealing with that too.
So yeah, thanks again, Nano Witch. Thank you to everybody else who tuned in this week and who's going to tune in to this episode in the future. We appreciate your support. Let us know how you think we're doing. Hopefully you're kind about it, like Nano Witch is. And we will see you next Wednesday at 8 for our next episode, which is entitled, what is it called? Let's look this up for some...
Wait, you're gonna drop the name of next week's episode, but not tell what this week's episode's name was?
We went over that, didn't we?
Nope.
Double play?
It was double play. We didn't never mention it.
It was double play. We
like
never
baseball.
mentioned it because it didn't really seem, God, if that's where they got it from.
A double play, right?
So useless.
Isn't that where it's from?
Well, it is from baseball, yeah, but like the only representation of baseball in this episode was the game that James was listening to.
Right.
Which had nothing to do with anything else.
100%.
Anyway, next week's episode is entitled Slaves and Masters.
Which looks interesting. From the thumbnail I saw. It looked like a dude smelling a butt. On the Amazon thumbnail. It was like very weird. It's like, that's cool.
I will give you all a little bit of a preview that's going to make you all happy and maybe more inclined to tune in. We do see the return of Agent Albert Rosenfield next week. Yeah, that's right. Miguel Ferrer turns up, presumably to help Cooper out with Wyndham Earle. So that's what we got to look forward to next Wednesday. We hope you all join us for our first episode of September. Oh, can't believe time is flying. Episode 23 next Wednesday. Check it out. Until then, I'm Gabe. This is Ian. Thanks for coming. Let a smile be your umbrella.
Thanks for coming. Hey, Nano Witch, thank you for being our best fan ever. Good night, everybody. What do I do here? Oh, yeah, I do this.